Hi there, this is Power and Politics. I'm David Cochrane. Alberta is defying Ottawa yet again, this time on federal gun law.
Alberta is taking this jurisdiction back.
Alberta is directing its police and prosecutors not to enforce the Liberal government's incoming gun ban. Can it legally do that? What the province and the feds are saying just ahead. Plus,
many are concerned about how this will impact them and their loved ones.
The federal government delays its expansion of medical assistance in dying to people with mental illness. The healthcare sector has been raising serious concerns for months, so why now? And
we are shifting from a remote by necessity to a hybrid by design.
Hundreds of thousands of federal workers are ordered back to the office, but only 2 to 3 times a week. A fair compromise? Or will unions fight for their right to permanently work from home? We'll ask the president of the Public Service Alliance of Canada. We begin, though, with Alberta's latest effort to flout federal laws. The province says it will not be enforcing the Liberal government's gun control legislation.
I have directed that the Alberta Crown Prosecution Service take over the handling of charges involving the Firearms Act starting January 1st, 2023. I've sent a letter to the Federal Minister of Justice as of this morning advising him that Alberta is taking this jurisdiction back.
All right, the CBC's Aaron Collins joins us now from Calgary to explain exactly what all of this means. So, Aaron, what exactly is Alberta doing here?
Keeping up their record of never being boring, right, David? It's always exciting out here in Alberta. So a couple of things from the Justice Minister. First, you heard him mention there that provincial Crown prosecutors are going to be taking over the files from federal Crown prosecutors for anything related to gun laws. So that's the first bit. The stickier bit is the second idea that Tyler Shandro says he's going to advise, he's very careful with the language there, prosecutors, that it's not in Alberta's interest for them to pursue prosecutions for gun owners who purchased guns legally, but then after that, those guns became illegal. So obviously this is a reference to the sort of ongoing and expanding ban of firearms in this country, and it's an end run or an attempted end run around that federal legislation. Obviously, you know, a shot over the bow at the federal government.
Yeah, and it seems like it's not just about the current controversy about hunting rifles. This applies backwards to the May 2020 notification that banned weapons like the AR-15. Alberta is essentially saying they're not going to enforce bans on the assault-style weapons that were enforced a couple of years ago. So this is another challenge to the federal government. So we just heard from the federal government last hour. What's the reaction there?
Well, you get the sense here that, the Alberta government is trying to provoke a reaction, right? We heard from the federal government today on this, and they're not, reacting quite yet. They're not saying, we're going to challenge this, this is unconstitutional, but they are certainly saying that gun laws and gun legislation and enforcing them falls clearly and squarely under federal jurisdiction. Have a listen to the federal justice minister today.
The constitutional division of powers is quite clear. Certain things fall under federal jurisdiction, other things fall under provincial jurisdiction. It would be extraordinary if they made a unilateral decision not to enforce the law. That would not only offend the Constitution, but would also offend the rule of law.
It would be extraordinary, and so far what we're hearing from Alberta's Justice Minister, Tyler Shandro, is that, as I said in the beginning, and maybe this is mincing words, but they're not going to direct Crown prosecutors not to proceed with these files. They're just going to advise them. It's going to be a protocol that they construct. But it does raise the question about Bill 1 here, the Alberta Sovereignty Within a United Canada Act. That's, supposed to be a way for the provincial government to push back against legislation that it feels is involving federal overreach. And you could imagine perhaps them deploying that bill in the new year once it gets royal assent in this case.
Okay, Aaron, you're right. It's never boring. Political drama is the second biggest export next to oil in Alberta, I think.
Yeah, you got it.
Aaron Collins, thanks so much to CBC's Aaron Collins in Calgary.